Good evening, everybody. I'm waiting for OBS to look like it's not having a day. There we go. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Component Cast's coverage
related episode
of
Spaghetti Code.
Of Lancer. It's just business. We have had some spaghetti for dinner tonight, but before we get on with tonight's show, we have some things that we just need and always want to get on with. And you know what, Roach? What is it we will be playing tonight?
We're playing Lancer. It's a game made by Massive Press. It's available on their itch.io page for free. You want just the rules, or you can pick up the digital version of the rule book for a fairly good price, as well as a physical copy if you can still get it. I said I was going to go check this last week, but I've been busy, so I haven't checked their web store to see if they still have that printing available. But if you can get it, it's worth it. This book's amazing. It's a great book to have on the shelf if that's what you're into, which I am. So it's perfect for me.
To answer the question, robots. Yes, you can still get the hardcover from the.
Well, there you go.
So
what's the price on that, Mikey?
60 US bones is what it is.
Hey, that's worth it. That is totally worth it. This is a game. This is a full game in a book. You don't need a GM guide or anything like that. You can play the whole game off this.
And Mikey, do you have anything to plug away?
Of course, I've been plugging all day. You can check out the artist who's drawn our character portraits, which you'll see in a bit. Their name is Mela. You can find her on Twitter and Tumblr as BUY. That's by space creator. You can find our shows in individual podcast channels. You can find them by searching the show's title. So, for example, we recently had the first ever download on our podcasts from Jamaica. So those of you who enjoy Jamaican food, thank you, random Jamaican listener. I appreciate you. You can find our Dungeons & Dragons show, The End of Our Chronicles, the Robert Jungle Show, Trial Nights, the Y100 Show, The Great Skits, and Lancer Show is just business. The Cyberpunk Show, Nice Terrors, and our specials, including the Dangerous Rivals on specials, the Good Easter Gobbies, Removal Special, the House of Time, Midgeman Special, and the Path of Ghosts, and Belgard, and Buy Specials, and the Good and the Podbean, Player FM, Podchaser, Listen Notes, Blue Play App Podcasts, Overcast Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podcast Friend, Podcast Addicts, Podcast Republics, Bullhorn FM, and Good Pods apps. Shows released on YouTube and on the podcast channels at 12 noon GMT, Friday for Umber, Saturday for Lancer, and Sunday for the specials. Please remember to turn on the auto downloader for your preferred app, and make sure to leave a rating and review. And if you could do me a massive favor and check out the links down below in all of the platforms you may or may not be listening to this to. You can find our merch store there alongside our Patreon, where you can give us a little bit of support. For all Patreons, where we get the biggest cut. And the merch store, well, merch is limited run. So once the show is done, you no longer get it. So for example, this Lancer poster I have behind me, or the Avari Military Solutions t-shirt that Roach is wearing, or I believe...
This is a polo, actually.
Oh, the polo.
This is the polo. You can't see it because it's very dark in my room and my hair is definitely covering the collar. So, that's the thing. But this is very nice. It's breathable. It's super breathable. This is not a cotton thing. This is like an outdoory, like, polo.
Nice for when you're forced to be at like community, at workplace gatherings after work hours, because that's a Vari, you can wear this polo. There you go. I
turned a light on to try and make it better, but my hair is just black, so it just blends right in.
Very nice. Yeah, you can find all of that there. There's also stuff for Elendor, and there's still some stuff there for Cyberpunk. So if you're looking for any of that sort of stuff, you can find it all there. And if you do me a massive favor, make sure you hit that follow button or subscribe if you're listening on YouTube.
Well, that covers pretty much everything. So without further ado, let's get on with tonight's broadcast.
Because we'll tell you.
What on earth is happening now? God, okay. Tonight is a night.
Midge, something's wrong.
Look, I don't even. Look, I'm going to adjust it, and it will still be wrong. Like.
So while Midge is fixing things, I want to let you guys know that I did just open up the Amazon.co.uk page for the Lancer hardbook, it's currently discounted on Amazon. It's 20% off. So if you're looking at getting it in the UK or Ireland, because they still deliver to Ireland, even though they now have an Amazon.ie, while people are kind of like going between those two websites, you can get it discounted 20% off. So if you're looking for anything like that, you can pick it up on Amazon.co.uk. Directed from Massive. That's the direction that Massive tells you if you want to get it in Europe to go to Amazon.co.uk, so you can get it there for 20% off.
Yeah, that is totally worth it.
Now we're back.
20% off for that book is totally worth it.
I don't know why Twitch, while OBS was doing that to me, it rescaled.
We've had sound issues.
It rescaled everything tonight.
But we had visual issues.
Tell me why.
What do you know?
The worst thing is I checked it all before the show because we had so much time.
Yeah, I was in a call. I was at a call an hour before the show started, and everything was good.
Anyway,
I got a drink, and the thing's fucked up. Yeah.
Gremlin.
Okay. Yeah. Gremlins. It's a gremlin stream. But yeah. So last week, we had a kind of a low-key session. We reintroduced everybody that was a part of Special Operations Group Hammer, and kind of recounted their trip back to their base, their home away from home. That is the forward operations base in the capital city of this planet, and which turned out to be a slow, monotonous, very military standard transit, where they had enough time to be bored, but not enough time to actually sleep. We got to see everybody's rituals as they went about this amount of time, and also a little bit of Good Samaritan-ness in the form of...
We prevented a murder.
Yeah, they prevent... Yes, Reaper and Spanner prevented a murder. A murder of who, you're not sure, but you do know who would have been the murderer. And that was the positively ancient chief petty officer that was being forced to listen to Arthur the Avari Aardvark teach kids how to count and be a good company employee, which is also a part of the programming, but that's more of a low-key thing in the background.
I just realized there's marketing in that, because Arthur the Avari Aardvark is a AAA mascot. Anyways.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A part of the massive repertoire of wholesome kids characters and kids programming provided by Avari and the other sister companies under Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company. Yeah, let's not forget that's ultimately who you're beholden to.
For eternity.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably somewhere in that agreement. But yeah, we left with all of you having boarded a frigate, then getting aboard kind of the transport to go down to the surface, and with you having just landed back in the forward operations base that you were at the Tandem capital city, forward operations base Rapier, which you helped secure the area around originally, and as you disembark from the craft, you see a very changed space than where you left originally, because it's been a couple of weeks. It's been a bit since you've been here, and what you've seen is that since that time, the base, how do I describe this? Whereas before it was like a like a security wall with an interior courtyard, essentially, with like kind of buildings that were already here, and then kind of what do you call them? Not pre-constructed, prefab buildings placed to kind of accommodate things that were necessary in here. Now, that kind of inner wall is not a contiguous wall anymore. It's more of like sectionals that are used to maybe like protect certain avenues, and then you see past that another wall, as if this is now the inner kind of part of the base, but the base itself, the footprint has expanded outward to cover a larger area. And part of that is you see a lot more things being worked on and people moving back and forth from here and there. You see what is essentially new roads having been put down, with like gravel and grading having been put down to make things easier to do. Red, you gotta stop smiling when Duke does anything, because it's distracting.
He's being so cute.
He's being an annoying little bastard who just wants his attention.
I will try my best to not to smile, but it's gonna be difficult.
Red, I want a cat.
I know.
There we go. What was I saying? I had the spiel. I was
Bases, walls, gratings, floors, pathways, driveways.
Yeah.
Cat cuteness. Red smiling.
Yeah. So you see all of this activity making the base feel a lot more active than it was previously, whereas before it was a lot more hectic, and obviously it had just been attacked, so there's a lot of things going on now. It seems most of the damage has either been fixed, or honestly, because a lot of the damage had been done to the defensive walls that used to exist, the parts that were damaged have just been taken away and being used as new gateways to the exterior kind of courtyard or defensive area on the interior of the base. You see new buildings having been set up. Ones that are not prefabs. Looks like the prefabs have been moved outside of the inner part, the inner sanctum. And now the interior is like, these are printed buildings, essentially, which is a step up from prefab in the sense that the parts are printed and then put together, whereas the prefab definitely is just like a flat stack that can just either be folded out or etc. to make a building with 2 rooms or something like that. Or this is like, a couple of multi-story buildings that maybe look like barrack houses or stuff like that. Would say probably Spanner. You'd notice almost immediately that the printers that you have helped out around previously, still located in the same building, which is a fairly shielded, well-defendable building, which makes total sense. They're extremely important to the current operations, and you wouldn't want them to be damaged. But you see other printers have been brought in, probably from stores aboard ships, but they're like a class lower, or maybe not even a class lower, but like a smaller form factors that have been placed outside. And you see a lot of other motor pools have been set up for the other mechanized units, but most of the Lancers, like combat forces and like the major like tank units and stuff like that are still located up here near the printers that can handle the volume necessary to make that work. But yeah, as you exit, teams come in. They your mechs are not, you're not piloting the mechs, walking them out. They're being put on flatbeds or transport trucks or movers and brought out of the cargo hold, and you're just kind of walking alongside if you want to monitor them. But these crews are unloading and bringing them, as you can see, over to that place where the printers have been, probably for pretty long-term maintenance or replacements outright of a lot of parts. But yeah, what would you as you exit? You've already technically given, I would assume, at this point in time. I'd say Demon, you've probably already given an after action over comms on the trip back at some point, or at least definitely conversed with Juliet to kind of get a report together, and that's probably been sent on.
But I'll have to report to base commander anyway.
Sure.
So I will.
It's also at around now. It's like 8 o'clock at night ish.
So fracking what?
I'm giving context for the mind for the mental picture of where you're at, so you understand. It's
hideously jet lagged.
Shit, how would they handle watch rotations?
Drugs. Lots of drugs.
No, I'm saying what would they match? I'm saying what would they match the internal, because the ship would have its, if it's a spaceship, it'd have its own internal clock.
Not necessarily.
But they match
military ship, then if it's military ship, then it would be Zulu time, whatever the flagship Zulu time would be.
Well, yeah, but then that brings up the question: is what that time is? Are they matching it to
probably to the planet, right? Because you're like, oh, we want to make sure that we're like following a similar schedule. Because if we need people to go to the planet, then they're not having.
You wouldn't change Zulu time. Zulu time is a universal thing on the ship. It wouldn't change depending on where you are on a spaceship, at least, necessarily, because that'd be fucked if you had to like you're in near light travel all the way there where there's essentially nothing, and then you get to a star system, and that star system's like, oh, now it's a 38-hour day on this planet we're going to.
Yeah, you're screwed now, buddy.
Yeah, so it's probably
you would have a local 24, right?
You would have like Wari standard time, but then you would also have Tandem local time.
Yeah, so there's probably, I'd say Zulu time on aboard the Flag is probably a 24-hour time, probably based off Cradle, a 24-hour Cradle like day. And I'd say you're probably like, yeah, like you've slept, like you're not actually that tired. You've like, because again, during the frigate trip, you had enough time to actually kind of like rest and everything. You probably rest more if you wanted to, but you had some time to rest. I'd say you like do the times maybe about like 5 or 6 hours ahead of kind of the time at the FOB right now. So a little jet lagged, I guess you could say, but like the positive kind of jet lag where you arrive earlier, kind of thing. But yeah, so
I'll give Drax an order to take charge of the mechs and rearm, make sure they're pushed fairly along, so because we don't know when we're next going to get deployed. I'll also give him a new design for downtown's weapon loadout.
He takes it. In fact, I was about ready to say Drax volunteers to go with the mechs and take a look at them. But yeah, it's a funny thing. You both have the same idea at the same time and say it almost at the exact same time. It's just like,
wow. That's how close we are, me and Drax. Yeah.
Yeah. CO and XO.
Shame about the rest of the team.
If we were all that synced up, it would be boring. Let's be honest here.
That's true.
If you're all synced up, you'd probably be dead.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. We're all synced up. We'd all have been dead in the first mission because we'd all have blown our mechs up at the same time.
Accurate. I appreciate that you think we would all sync to Oleg. That Oleg is the standard.
Oleg got the right mentality in combat. The mission.
I mean, without Oleg, we never would have finished that first mission. So
there is that.
You know.
And I'll basically tell everyone, basically, take time for yourselves, stay out of trouble, or get into trouble. But as long as it's not too much paperwork, I don't care.
As long as it's not my trouble, I don't give a shit.
Demon, can I have a quick word?
Yeah. He says with a due sense of fear and dread.
I'm gonna work on the side project for a bit.
Go for it. And I make my way to what I'm assuming is still the head building, top dog building person, whatchamacallit, to report in.
Yeah, I would say that since it's a large enough base at this point, it might have that kind of like mash thing where there's actually like like there's a sign that kind of gives you like you know, like where certain things are kind of generally, so you can kind of you kind of figure it out. Oh yeah, it's the same place. And so yeah, you head off over towards the main building, the multi-story kind of building that all of like the command and control of the FOB and kind of the operations was when you left. And what you can see now is it's how do I say this? It's like it's like outgrowthed in the sense that a lot of things that were packed into the same building before have now been kind of given breathing room, and like smaller side like buildings have been erected through the printer to make it easier and less cumbersome for things. So instead of, you know, like, I don't know, like combat analysis or like intelligence analysis, like being in this sharing space with something like, you know, communications, like or something like that, they're like in separate areas so that there's not a lot of cross talk that can, or like, you know, cross contamination, like, and everything that can be focused on things. But commander's still kind of, you know, second floor of that building. When you go up in there, you know, you flash whatever identification Avari typically uses, which honestly it's probably biometrics or something like that. Like it's probably just like a scan or something.
I was hoping it was my winning smile.
It's a loyalty card. Like
it's a
it's a loyalty card.
We're fucked.
It gets us discounts at all of Avari affiliated stores. If you stamp the side of it, you get a free coffee.
That's yep. And once a year,
Unfortunately, it doesn't
you can,
extend to the merch store.
Yeah, that's true. Though once a year, you can't put in the ID code from that card into a drawing for Christmas, and
with 3 billion other employees.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty small chance, but there's a big prize pool.
It always happens to be someone from the executive floor that wins, though.
Well, the big ones, yeah, like, you know, a trip to, like, you know, like the Mediterranean and like a cradle, or they, you know, a week, you know, they get a couple of months at the, you know, in the trade baronies or something like that, and they can just kind of like let their hair out. But you know, stuff like a mug or like a sweater or something like that. A lot of people get those.
Years in the future, and a trip to the Mediterranean is still the first thought that comes to mind for a trip on vacation. You can literally go to planets across the solar system, the entire galaxy. But it's the Mediterranean. The cradle is still really nice, guys.
I mean,
it's hard to get better than the Mediterranean.
It's pretty nice, but also I would think, here's the thing though, it's not necessarily about the sights, it's the prestige of going to the home world. Yeah.
That does it probably, yeah, it's actually gotten bigger now.
Yeah, that's kind of thing. That's why I think Star Wars, that's why I think in Star Wars, if you get like a trip to Coruscant, it's not like Coruscant's not actually that nice. It's a giant planet-sized slum, essentially. But going to Coruscant, it's kind of cool. Like that story.
Yeah, if level shiny.
Yeah.
Much better than Hosnian Prime.
True.
Yeah.
If it was DK3, you get like a big prestige buff for taking your pilgrimage there. Would be like what it would be.
Yeah. Pretty sure there is Star Wars.
I would have compared that more to 40k than Star Wars, because Star Wars getting around is super easy in Star Wars.
That's
but
true.
in 40k, no, that's getting to visit Terra. That is a big deal.
That's true. So yeah, but yeah, you enter. You give your ID. They let you through. You go through a couple of the interior checkpoints of them double checking stuff and making sure you don't have a bomb on you or something like that. And then with the final
just several
one,
weapons.
Yeah, and the final one, you are asked to surrender your sidearm. Not anything else. Just your gun.
The final checkpoint. You just not the first checkpoint, the final checkpoint. Sorry,
Well, no,
you're killing me today, Roach.
No, that's actually like it's a military base. They don't necessarily like, and you're going to see the CO or slash R like commander of the overall military operation on the planet. Like the rest of the place, you're in an active military like low intensity combat zone. You kind of do need a gun on you, but if you're gonna visit the inner sanctum of like the office of the commander, the overall commander, there's that one they actually kind of do want you to just give up the gun. And it's corporate, so whatever. But yeah, you go through, it's pretty standard for what it is. It's a lot less hectic than you're used to this place being previously, which it was very hectic. Because obviously, initial setting down, base attack, that kind of thing was going on. People have settled into vibes, but yeah, very soon you are in front of someone you've seen a couple of times, and that's the overall commander, Xavier Brayson, the kind of old man, tall, white hair, kind of has, I think, what did I describe it? Kind of like the Colonel from the first Avatar film in vibes. Not necessarily looks, but vibe-wise, if I, we're trying to place him.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, he's been here for a while, probably longer too, because if he's like that old, he's biologically that old, that means, a military person, near light travel being a thing, probably over 100, maybe 2. Depending on how long some of these campaigns were. Yeah. Theoretically probably saw the fall of the second committee 400 years ago. But at least, as a young kid. Greets you, offers a seat and everything. He's not necessarily a quick thing they're expecting here, and we don't need to go over it in detail, but you give a verbal check-in. He asks some questions, nothing kind of out of the ordinary, just double checking, like having everybody squared away. You got any injuries, that kind of thing? What's your combat status as a team?
Got some damage, need to do some repairs before we can go out again. 24 hours.
He, nods his head and everything like that. Kind of takes it in. Before kind of the petering out of the topics and the kind of the verbal report, he gives you he lets you know, don't worry, you stand down for 48 hours. You and most of the detachment, most of the Lancer detachment have been on active duty for a couple of weeks now, so you've got some time to rest. So use it while you got it. That kind of thing. Gives you a good job. As best of praise as you can probably expect from somebody kind of this much higher in the ranking than you are. Because theoretically, there's like 3 people that you technically report to directly before you get to him. Because you've got the CO and XO of the actual Lancer units that are actually within it, and then you've got this guy, and you've got his.
That's who I was
XO.
looking for.
Well, if you're you said base commander.
Yeah,
and this is the base commander. If you're talking about the Lancer, the CO of the Lancer detachment, or the Lancer battalion, that would have been you going to Low Pass, who you've actually probably seen less, because Xavier was the one who gave your briefing when you initially kind of got all your assignments and
It's
everything.
Low Pass and Sunshine, I think, are the
Yep, low
CO.
pass is the
XO
CO. No, CO is low pass, XO is Sunshine.
Cool.
Yeah, you've met Sunshine much more because she's the XO. She's a bit more as presence with everybody. Yeah. So, but you do that. Seem to be expecting you for this, and dismisses you. All told, takes you probably about 20 minutes to go through everything, and on your way back. While that's happening, the rest of you, what are you doing? You've just kind of like, you're commander of
Can
the
we
units.
figure out where the barracks are and therefore where our bunks are? Because if everything's changed, we're not sleeping on tires anymore.
Yeah, your storeroom is probably your storeroom that you shared with Echo and Grim and the rest of their unit. Probably not necessary anymore. Do you just try and find it yourself, or you just come right out and ask somebody who's like?
Spanner is smart enough to ask someone.
Yeah, so you ask, and you're just immediately given like a point and everything. What you see is one of those like print built buildings that has been erected since the expansion of the base. That looked like a barracks. They point and they say, "Yeah, it's the barracks for you lot." What you can see, it's like a 2-story long, kind of 2-story building. Probably like, definitely doesn't look like it's an open form building. Like there's definitely rooms within there, or anything like that. Not like a bunk line barracks or anything like that. There's probably individual rooms, or at least like communal rooms for teams or something like that. But it's fairly large, so it definitely, you can see that it probably houses almost all or all of the Lancer units that you'd expect to be here, and probably, if you're gonna guess, all the handlers probably are there as well. Who you'd be bunking there. But if you get that, you can head over, and when you arrive, you go inside the front, and what you see is kind of like the front of the building is a big open, is actually kind of open, and it looks like it's just been like this makeshift like general purpose room that the Lancers have made into a rec room. So that, because like it might have served as like a storage room, like on the blueprints or something like that, or like a place to like muster, or just generally could be used for anything. And they've definitely like put things in here to pass time here, and like maybe some mini fridges and some like stacks of rations, or maybe even some food and stuff like that in the corners, just like probably not stuff they were issued, but it seems to be.
They've not stolen it, they've appropriated it.
Yeah,
Acquisitioned.
yeah. Lopez and Sunshine live here too, so I mean they definitely know if there's what's here. It's just, but
Is
there's
there
like
anyone in the rec room that we recognize?
There's a lot of people in the rec room. Like it's not like I want to give the impression like this is big enough, like this building is big enough to house the entire battalion and more, like on the one floor, and the second floor is for all the handlers and that kind of stuff and more. And so this front room is enough room that probably the vast majority of the Lancer battalion can be in here, and the vast majority of the Lancer battalion, who have all been stood down for some quick R&R, are kind of here. And when you enter, yeah, you see quite a few people that you know. You see Mr. Thompson, who's kind of just like lounging in the equivalent of like a beanbag chair or something like that, with a drink kind of next to him, and he's kind of just like talking with a couple others whom I guess you might. You've met Thompson's team. right?
Yeah, we went on to the we took out we rescued
Yeah.
the pilots from the police
Yeah,
headquarters.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you've met Thompson's team, and so you can see most of them are here as well, and he's talking with them. You see, kind of back a little ways, doing what maybe is darts, or maybe like a local variation, like like a local planet variation of darts or something like that. You see, Grim and Echo, playing. Echo is up and walking, looks to be totally, back on his feet. You'd assume has a prosthetic of some sort or a regrown limb for the missing one that he lost during his run-in with the ace blackjack. And a lot of others that you know in passing that you would have gotten to know like a somewhat, but maybe not have necessarily like formed any like
connections with. We're just
like
they're our colleagues. These guys.
Yeah, you're aware of them. Like you see Raptor team there whom you haven't really like interacted with all that much, and you see their commander kind of taught like you see what you assume to be some sort of game that's that they're playing to stop the mind-numbing boredom that it comes with not having anything to do. And she's like balancing a ball or something on like the middle of her finger, and like the rest of her team is trying to like stop that or something.
Can I have got my handheld printer out of my mech before coming in here?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna find our bunk room and then I'm going to make some games.
Yeah.
You have fun. Reaper's going to step into the middle of the room and just go, hammer group's back, we didn't die, and pull out a what looks like two big boxes of chocolate, like chocolate bars, and just be like, I got you guys a present, as he looks around the room.
You are swarmed.
Hey, there's enough for everybody. There's also
everybody. There's also a lot of like you may be the odd ones out as a group, like the kind of non-team team that exists within here, but you're still a Lancer team. Like you're
not dead yet, fucker.
You're not driving tanks. You drive, you're Mech pilots. So that we
may be the odd boys, but we're still part of the boys.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of pats on the backs and kind of greetings and like hellos. A couple of people probably like maybe they paid attention or maybe they listened in to some comms or read some dispatches or something like that, complimenting you on some of the shit you pulled off, that kind of thing. Nobody's really nobody's really chiding you or anything like that. They're just just like, glad you're not dead. Hey, that's great. That kind of thing.
Success.
You see, success. Yeah. Echo and Grim give you specifically because you're kind of the closest one. Like you're probably like of Hammer. You're probably the closest to those two specifically. Reaper, so they give you definitely special like hey and everything, and Echo gives you like shows off the prosthetic a little bit. It's going not as good as the old one, but hey.
Does it have like any cool components in it? He like looks at it and goes, oh, hey, does it like have like a hidden compartment in it? You can keep something in it or anything like that? Like anything cool?
What you can see is because his arm was gone, probably like from the elbow down, and what you can see is this is they didn't have the stuff to do a regrow, like a genetic regrow and graft, which is something you can get like in the closer to the cradle. And what you can get, usually it is covered by your health like benefit plan, if available. So this is like something that this is something they've given him until that is available to actually use, which probably when he rotates back. But what you can see, so this is a pretty standard print prosthetic that's been given. Like it's there's nothing really flashy about it or anything like that. It's a function. It's function over aesthetics, essentially. So it's kind of like an off gray color. Not a lot of like a very like monotone gray too. There's not a lot of color separation or two tones or anything like that. Just very monotone. Five 4 fingers and a thumb, all articulate everything. It's all based off of brain impulses and everything. It just works, and everything. So he's like, no, nothing too fancy. And then Grim next to him is going, no, show him, no, you're gonna love this. Show him. And as that happens, Silver Fox and Poe, the other 2 members of Echo's team, also come up and do the same thing. No, show him. And a couple of other people start, and you think probably a couple of people, they're not on duty, so they definitely drank a little bit on there. And he's just like, come on, no, that's good. Like, nah. He's like, all right. What you see is he takes out like a pocket knife. Not like a switchblade or anything, but one just kind of like, you fold it out and it clicks in place and it stays, kind of pocket knife, like something like that. Really sharp. It's definitely not a utility blade. It's more like this is like a last resort kind of like blade or something to like cut something really quick if you need be, like a harness or something like that if you're stuck. But he puts that in his prosthetic, and you see he's locked it in there, and he goes like, okay. And he gets a piece of like paper, and folds it a couple of times, and see him kind of like getting it. He's making sure there's enough space, and he's telling people to get the fuck away from him for a second. And he kind of like puts a finger underneath a little like panel in the prosthetic arm that probably shouldn't be loose, but is, like, it's been worked loose. And you can hear a little kind of like click. He goes, and then you see him like concentrate for a minute, and then at the wrist it just starts like with the knife kind of out, it starts spinning, but like and the knife is like horizontal, everything, and he's spinning it, and he's got this folded piece of paper, and he's like doing this as it's spinning really quickly, and the paper's also horizontal, and he goes, and like in a practiced fashion, very clearly, and then it stops. Everybody gets quiet for a second, and then he unfolds it, and you can see it's like an accordion out as he's like cut it in a very specific way to get that something. You can tell he's proud that he's figured out how to do that, but like in a way that's like, this is not useful in the slightest, but it's cool that I can do this.
Keeps you entertained.
It keeps him entertained. Yeah, he spent a while trying like figuring that out. You can see it's practice motion. He goes, it's like, it just goes. There's a couple of laughs, like, there's not a lot going on.
Reaper.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, so I mean, there's that.
I mean, I've seen worse, and he walks up to him and like pats him on the shoulder. But as he's doing that, his other hand comes up and he sticks something into his jacket, which he'll figure out later is like a bag of like actually nice coffee. And then he walks over to Grim and goes, "I'm gonna go get some
propose to him."
Yeah, I'm gonna go do the same. I'm doing the same to every single one of. It's Grim's team technically. It's not Echo's team. Grim's in charge. I remember that being a thing.
Yep, you're right.
He does the same to Grim. Foxglove, is that right? Fox.
Silver Fox.
Silver Fox, and the last one. I don't remember the last
one.
Poe. All right, Poe. I'll do the same to those three, and I'm gonna go get some. Gonna go check out my bunk, leave my shit behind, and get the fuck out of this kit and get a shower, a proper shower. because goddamn, space showers. Fuck, man. Right. Back out in a minute, and he goes out to his bunk and gets an actual shower if he can.
Yeah. You could probably get one. It's not going to be say definitely not like going to be a super hot shower. You can get a lukewarm shower or something like that, but it's not cold.
That's
Does
better
the
than
water fall from onto your head?
Is there
Yes.
water pressure? Then I'm good.
Yes.
That's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. That's better than anything else. Also, you did mention it's kind of hot this time of year, right?
Yeah,
So
it's a little hot.
little bit cooler shower probably wouldn't hurt.
That's true.
What's Grimm's Lancer team called?
They're Thunder.
Thunder. Thank you.
Yeah, they're Thunder. Mr. Thompson's team is Warhawk. And again, the one you don't really know, you don't like interact with that much. But you saw her doing like the ball balancing thing and just trying to like, pass the time doing some shit. Is Raptor, and that is led by a lady named Phoenix.
Cool. Because I like Reaper would know all of this because he would make sure to pay attention to that because it's important to know that hey, Raptor squad is nearby. We need the help. We should contact Phoenix, or Warhawk is in the area. We should contact Mr. Thompson. That sort of thing. He would keep that as like a thing because he would have been in situations where that would have been a thing. He would have needed to know it on the job. He would have been on a solo op, but he would have been like, hey, there's this friendly operation nearby that if you need some help, they can divert somebody to give you a hand, or they can divert a small squad, or whatever it may be. And he would always try and keep at the very least, the CEO and the name of the group in mind. So.
Yep. No. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's all.
There was Padre's team. I don't know if they're back up and running because
They're dead.
They're dead.
Didn't we rescue some of them? Wasn't the
Dead.
operation for some of them? At least.
Yeah, you did rescue some of them. Padre's with you.
Yeah, you rescued me. No, we did rescue some more, but they were like medivacs
Prisoners.
off. Yeah, and
Yeah,
they were also
prisoners
medivacs.
That's
are-
true. Yeah.
And they were like
Yeah.
they were fully like out of action. That squad is like it needs a actual redeployment, which is
Almost like you wish there was the word that could describe him. Oh yeah, dead.
Yeah.
no,
The
because
full-
they basically the cloning vats aren't up yet, and they haven't been reprinted. Dead doesn't matter, remember?
It's like Borderlands.
No,
Right?
dude.
There's like a glitch in like that thing that would bring you back from the dead.
No. This
Materialize
is
you.
we're doing it on a company line, right? So that we've got to wait for enough tickets to be available for a redeployment into the combat area. That's how.
That's true. Yeah. It's just using that strategy gamer thing.
Yeah. Of all of the units in the Mech battalion, each of the companies, the teams, but they're organizationally a company because they also include the support personnel, is first company, that's Shadow Strike, which is the one who's headed up by Low Pass, and also contains Grim. Or not Grim, Sunshine. There was Shadow Strike, Thunder, Saber, Warhawk, and Raptor. And the one that Padre was in was Saber, which is no longer functioning up there. So what you see here, the vast majority of the battalion is of the battalion's like mech, like of Lancer pilots are kind of here. So that's what they're working as. Yeah, you go and go ahead and get a shower and everything. What's everyone else doing whenever you enter place?
As has been previously described, it's hot. It's the time of year where they're having what we would equate to, imagine, the summer season. Oleg is doing his best to requisition what is essentially like canopy tarping, and he is going to set up for what I imagine nobody can understand. Is we have AC. Why would you ever be outside? Like an outdoor lounge. He's just by lounge I mean he's dragged like an easy chair under this thing. He's dragged like patio chairs under this thing, and he's just kind of setting them up like you would like a couch area to look at a TV. There's no TV. He's just kind of setting them around.
Barbecue. Barbecue. I'm hearing barbecue.
He is planning to do what is the equivalent of a military barbecue.
Yeah.
He's planning on like setting up a barbecue, getting out there and getting actual meat. He is going to set this up to a glorious degree, but he's got maybe 30 minutes. So what he's done is he set up the chairs and he's at the camp. He got hungry, so he's eating a meal cube in one hand. He's got like a tablet on the other hand. He's like scrolling through, looking at mechs or looking at planning for the future, seeing what he's going to like requisition with these new licenses we're getting, and has probably fallen asleep, honestly, with like the tablet in one hand, just like a dad in an easy chair, just like food in one hand, newspaper in the other, and it's just
at the very
conked out.
least you're underneath some tarping, so you're not going to wake up the color of a tomato.
Yeah, no, that was what the tent is for. It's to protect you from the sun and the elements.
Okay.
It's a two-step process. I'm spending my downtime building a barbecue, guys. That's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I subtly work out that's what Oleg's going to be doing? And I want to try and, before they either melt it down for reuse or like get rid of it somehow, I want to see if anyone's recovered any trash from our first engagement. Ergo, I'm looking for a piece of Oleg's exploded mech.
I was going to say,
because it's company property, someone would have gone and got it.
Depending on how much
Even
time we've had, he has definitely taken like a blade that has been used in combat that is broken and is just like a section of it. He's dragged it over to basically set up on stilts to use as the basically the barbecue grill, and he's just gathering up like foliage, wood, and other things to stick underneath it to set on fire. This is not official in any way. This is just a guy's like caveman building this on need.
I'm looking forward to the adjutant that tries to get you to tear this down, but physically can't. But no, I want to try.
I need you to stop this, soldier, and sit down so I can reprimand you.
I am making food. But no, I want to try and find like a piece of like exploded, irradiated, half-melted armor plating, and write Oleg's on it. I want to make a sign for his.
I'll make a sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oleg's Bar and Grill.
Normally, like, my initial reaction to that was, but technically they would just deassemble the material.
They haven't got to it yet.
That's why I'm wondering.
Printer,
have they
but
done it
it's
yet?
such a fun idea that
like, it was so irradiated.
just
They needed the next like level of printers. We've only just got those in, so they haven't been doing recycling because they've been busy refitting. Like,
yeah,
I will throw an investigate roll or something like that in.
or something like that. However, this game works.
I've got investigate. If that
That's
helps.
true. I say it's not even a question. I'd say you spend a little time to go comb through, because I'd say there's probably like a pile or like a section that's been set aside for like wrecks or like, you know, tanks that have been blown up, or, you know, like light vehicles that no longer functioning, and a couple of Lancer mechs that got recovered and brought in. Not only friendlies, you see quite a few like hummingbirds and a couple other like enemy ones that have been brought in for just raw material sake, because once they get to the point where they start, you know, feeding the constituent material into the printer as just like, you know, fuel for the printer to reprint, then like that's just, you know, free material essentially. So yeah, you find it and you spend some time and you find probably like a couple of parts that, yeah, they could probably be Oleg's. thing. Because again, Oleg did self-destruct, and the point of
You
that
find
is
a piece of the orange arm. That's
Yes.
the way you know.
Yes, because he had the
bright fluorescent arm.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, because that was the
It
only
is Oleg's
factory.
tagline.
Was the only factory version of that arm they had left in stock or something, wasn't it? But yes.
But yeah, so you find that, and you can work your way. You can work a plating off or something like that, and you can get it. You can get it. Yeah, I'd say not
I'm
even have
just
to
gonna
roll for that.
crude
You
black
find it.
paint Oleg's, and then I'm gonna sneak it behind him, so it's like in his area when he wakes up.
Okay. Yeah.
Or-
No, you
It's almost
you can
like
definitely
he.
do that.
Yeah, I want to tooth fairy this. I don't want him to know it's me, but I want it to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do that. You can do that. I'm not
The
gonna make you
side
roll for
fairy
it.
Nice.
game.
Yeah, that's good. That's totally good. So yeah, you spend probably, let's say, a couple hours working on that because you got to comb through some things and get it all done. But you eventually do, and once you finish that, it's pretty late at night, and you can head in, and get yourself some sleep. And Spanner, you kind of beelined right with your mini printer and started printing out games.
So, the way I see it, dice have existed for at least 3,000 years. They can exist for another 3,000 years.
5,000.
5,000. Dice are inevitable
Dice.
in whatever.
Dice
Like,
are the
for context-wise-
cockroaches of the gaming world.
Yeah, for context-wise, it's the year 5016 in of this calendar, and that's 5,000 years since the beginning of the first union, of the first committee of union, which was a couple thousand years after the calamity that almost destroyed humanity. So who the fuck knows what AD year it is at this point? It honestly could be 11,000 for all we know.
So, I am going
Yeah.
to print the equivalents of chess, checkers, backgammon, snakes and ladders, pieces games with a board and sort of pile them up. And then once Reaper comes back from his shower, I will employ his help to take them all to the rec room and then go and get a shower myself.
Can you print out a miniature poker table?
That would be.
Have you got any
Less of
cards?
this miniature shit.
He pulls out multiple decks of cards.
You wouldn't need a poker. You wouldn't be able to do the
You
poker
just need
table.
You just need a
You see-
table and chairs.
Yeah, it's- for context, the
need
printer
chips.
she's using is like a mini
I
microwave.
can print chips.
Yeah.
That's the bit we need.
I will print
Yeah.
some chips.
Yeah, you go ahead and you do that.
And
And everything else you were.
that's the one.
Print out some chips, and I'll keep the chips to the side because that's going to be like a not right now kind of situation. That's something he'll spring on them when everyone's back. Like, hey, who wants to sit down and play some poker, kind of thing, or blackjack or whatever other card game you feel like playing. And we'll hand out the regular board games with Spanner.
You do. Once you get back and you start delivering them like a Santa Claus.
Ho ho ho! I have a
you also
machine gun.
brought chocolate to them.
They're
Just
all of a
before-
sudden they're like Hammer Group. Hammer Group are the gods of
Yeah!
of the Lancer
Fuck
Group.
yeah! You just definitely like that. Like, yeah,
We've gone
fuck
from
yeah.
the misfits to the masters of mankind.
Yeah. And you already weren't like ostracized or anything like that. You had a pretty good standing with at least a couple of members of various other groups that at least liked you to were neutral on to you, even like Mr. Thompson kind of just like you you exist kind of thing. Yeah, so you bring those and everybody's pretty jazzed about having that, and things are kind of distributed. People start matching up for games and stuff like that, and having pretty good time, honestly. There's still like darts is still being played and a couple of other things. People who were into that. But yeah, there's like you're very popular with the people in the barracks, with the other Lancers.
We go, everywhere we go, we're popular. We show up on a random ship, we're popular. We show up here again, we're popular. I don't know. It feels like it's a bit of like
no. What it is Reaper is the bringer of entertainment, because when we went to the camp, he downloaded all of the death metal.
That's true. Yeah.
He called Spanner in for the remote access. And now he's making poker game.
What can I
Reaper
say?
knows what it's like to be bored.
Reaper has been bored stiff enough in his life that he's like, listen, we need to stop this. This is illegal. This is a crime against whatever humanity.
I can't be like me.
They can't actively be wanting to die all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and
ADHD will still be a thing.
Yeah, that's very true. So yeah, we
At some point, Demon has returned.
Yeah, Demon, you come by it eventually, and you come in. You see kind of everybody is socializing, talking amongst themselves. You get the same kind of like welcome that the rest of the team got when you come in. Maybe not as touchy-feely because you don't give off the vibes that you're okay with that. But definitely like the same kind of like good-natured welcome and everything. Might be offered like a bottle of something to drink, or like something to eat or something like that, and the rest of your night's yours.
When I see Demon, I slip him the coffee, but I do it in a way that I don't touch him. I just hold out my hand to shake his hand and be like, we did a good job, and I slip the coffee into his hand.
Oh, like a drug deal.
Oh yeah, that's what that is though. It's good coffee. That's what that is in this situation.
Yeah.
Got to make sure the boss is awake at least,
Unless the boss wants to go to sleep.
Well, when he wants to be awake, he can be awake and actually enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah. Reaper's doing what Reaper would do.
Reaper's doing what Reaper would do. Demon's finding a bunk.
His bunk.
Yeah, there's each of the teams.
You have
has
a
their
hammer
own-
room.
Because
Yeah,
we've only
each of
got
the
48
teams-
hours of leave, so I'm using every second of it to get as much sleep as possible.
48 hours of guaranteed leave. Or at least 48 hours of most of the Lancer pilots being stood down for kind of an hour.
So
Yeah.
I tell everybody basically got 48 hours, which means I want you awake, sober, and on the ready line at 0800 the next 2 days from now.
Reaper looks around and goes, I don't hear Oleg. Where is he?
Demon, you saw like coming on the way.
Yeah. Oleg's fine.
Oh, okay. I'll just
Smash
take that
cut to
at face value.
Oleg and a lazy boy.
Do you hear explosions?
Not yet.
Exactly, then Oleg's fine.
That's true.
Yeah. So you you do all that, and as you everybody filters back to the room and gets a little bit of sleep going for the night, you all pass out and go to bed. The next morning, you're greeted by a break.
Yeah, that is what we call a segue.
That is what we call a segue.
Is this break or is this time?
Break.
Is it we break? Okay. So
Break.
Oh
join-
yeah.
they have-
Sorry, no, yeah.
Yeah,
Roach is just
Lake
checking.
doesn't have have the go signal. It doesn't have the key to turn on that.
Right? No, I thought Mitch was asking like, is this break for like, are we getting downtime in game, or is this break like we're going on break? I was confused.
I'm checking the longevity of our broadcast tonight.
I have not been given a text yet, but when I get the text, I was expecting to get a text around this time, so I don't know if I will be getting it or not. So we can do a break and then go until I get one, or...
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will take a short break here with possibly a broadcast on the other side, or we'll round out the show. Who knows? Yeah, we're going to be doing... We forgot to mention at the top of the show, we'll be doing a slightly shorter session again this week. Sorry about that. But
also, I wanted to mention real quick that Amazon.com has a 40% discount on the Lancer Hardbook.
Oh,
for the US version of Amazon.
Getting
and Canada, right?
It's such a good deal.
That is.
No, I think Canada has its own. It has a dot.
Oh, cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway, join us in 10 minutes' time.
Hey, come here a minute. Do you need royalty-free music for your TTRPG content? Whether that be a YouTube video, stream, TikTok, Instagram post, don't worry, we've got you covered. My name's Alex, I've been a content creator for almost a decade now, and I've teamed up with my good friend Harry to produce 10 royalty-free songs for you to use in your content completely for free. We've tried to make a whole range of motifs with this album, covering happy music to sad music, to mystery music to combat music. And if this takes off, you know what? We might even make some more. So give the Elendor Chronicles soundtrack Volume 1 a shot. It's free to stream everywhere, and if you want the high quality downloads, you can come over to our Patreon and download them, or you can contact me directly at tabletop@themidgemansworld.co.uk as a creator, and I'll just give it to you for free. That's it, there's no catch, and just to prove it, we've also given you guys a user license agreement to prove that you have the complete perpetual rights to use this content. So enjoy, and good luck on your next adventure. Oh, good day. I'm Martin Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Avari Military Solutions. We here at Avari know that it doesn't take much to cause problems out on the frontier, whether that be from local pirate raids, neighboring interstellar powers, or even just an unhappy populace with unreasonable demands. Just what is a small to mid-sized regional power to do when faced with these problems? You look to Avari for your solutions. With open-ended contracts, well-trained personnel, state-of-the-art aerospace forces, and competitive rates, we stand ready to help find the right solution to your problem. So if you have a problem, why not call Avari for your solution? Our operators are waiting to take your call, and consultations are free of charge.
Avari Military Solutions, a solution for your problem.
Avari Military Solutions is not licensed to operate within the Kark and Dre Baronies, the Andes Corps, or any Class A combat zones. AMS is a subsidiary of Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company.
When is a story more than a story? When a tale is more than words on paper? When is an ad more than the script it's written on? In the darkest and deepest annals of our own history, worlds of wonder and splendor burst through like a blister made of hope from the brain that's wrestled and riddled with madness. A radiant pustule. Writing, art, that's storytelling. That is the true lust of life. You too can dutifully indulge in art. Like fans of the greats. Shakespeare, King, Tolkien, Seuss, Mercer. You too can indulge through Twitch Prime. Get an extended access to a wealth of knowledge with a simple click, an emotion so small that it could endlessly amount possibilities. Embrace those feelings. Support us. Support the component cast.
All right. Okay. So yeah, you all wake up the next day on your first kind of day of really straight R&R. You don't really have any duties or anything like that when you get up. What you kind of experience is, everybody's kind of drilled into them when to get up. Honestly, it's kind of hard to break that, even if you do try and go back to sleep or something like that, if you just want to sleep in a bit. So quite a few people are up about, fairly early, maybe a little later than you would if you were going to be going to be going to a morning roll or something like that. So when you kind of exit your room, you're greeted to, a mix of the other members of teams, kind of lounging around. There is a mess that's been erected in the base, but from the smell of things, you smell coffee, and you smell some stuff. It's warm. Has been kind of maybe cooked on a hot plate or two, in a corner. There's been some stuff kind of set out from some other individuals. Just kind of take what you want kind of thing while it lasts. And it's a spread of pretty basic shit. Nothing too fancy or anything. Probably some egg substitutes kind of done up as an omelet or something like that here and there, or maybe some toast and maybe some I wouldn't even say bacon, but some sort of meat that's been
Spam. Fried spam.
heated up or something like that. Hey, don't knock it. Don't knock it. I'm a poor person. I've had spam. I've made spam sandwiches before. It's lunch meat. Fuck you.
If you cook it right, you can almost believe it's bologna.
I actually hate bologna. I hate bologna.
I'm not a fan either.
Not a fan. No. No. But either way, so there's some hot, there's some heated meat that's been kind of set about. You could probably have a decent breakfast with what's there. Not a huge amount there, but there's enough for if you want to have a plate or something like that, and pour yourself some coffee from a pot that's kind of in a corner, relatively fresh. Whoever woke up first, probably put it on. Not sure. I would say Reaper, you're probably one of the ones that gets up early and everything. You're not sure if some of your coffee is the one that's made this pot, but I mean it's coffee. Doesn't smell artificial, but it might be an instant coffee or something like that that's been kind of brewed, but or some the grounds that have just been put in there. There's not obviously no fresh grind or anything going into this, but there's something, and a couple of mugs smattered around, quite a few what Rival's sipping off of right now. It's an Avari branded white mugs and stuff like that. They're probably bulk shipped down here for everybody to use randomly around the base. A couple of those upside down, stacked in a corner and everything for anybody to use. So you guys go about, get yourself whatever you want to eat, pour yourself whatever drink if you want it, and kind of just eat. And while you're doing that, waking up. Yes, Spanner.
Is Juliet in the mess?
Yes. You see Juliet, she is sitting kind of at a table. It's kind of a makeshift table because most of this stuff here does not match with other stuff. It's obviously like tables that were just spare from another thing have just been like commandeered and put in here. So there's like this little kind of oval table that might have been like in a conference room or something like that. It's just been kind of like propped up in the corner. A couple of like random chairs and stuff like that. And you see Juliet, who's got like kind of like probably like half a cup of coffee in front of her, some toast and the like that's been kind of like nibbled at, and she's just kind of like softly talking with individuals not well say a mix, just a mix of people you assume to be handlers since you don't recognize them as pilots, and like two pilots who are also kind of just talking softly, kind of like nothing animated. Doesn't look like they're like, you know, like talking softly in the sense that they just don't want to be loud this early. Not that they're trying to be secret or anything.
Okay, because she's talking, can I drop a note or a text or whatever to her handheld? Just saying, when you're free, come find me.
Yeah, you could. You do so. Probably while she's talking, she kind of like does a, you know, the thing where she like touches the screen so that it goes so that it's, you know, it goes to the lock screen. It's not black anymore, but you can see like, you know, the shorthand notifications that are like on it, and she like reads that and like looks up and she sees like you in the corner or anything like that. She gives you like a little wave. And continues on with what she's, you know, doing. She looks pretty tired. Given the fact that she wasn't with you when you landed, and the fact that she was in a different ship, you assume she got in here pretty late.
Okie doke.
Yeah.
I go and eat breakfast with the people who are up, and I know.
Yeah, I say Reaper's there, definitely. And anyone else of the group that wants to be up?
Yeah, I think Padre would be awake.
Yeah, you kind of like congregate.
Demon's just come back from a run.
Yeah, of course he did.
Demon is the antithesis of Rival.
Yeah.
Exercises a lot.
Demon's that officer that he's 48, like he's 40 something, and he still gets up like in the morning and does a run and everything, and it doesn't look like he's been like, it doesn't look like he's lost a step or anything like that. But like when he's not being observed, he's definitely
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
So what we're saying
He gets up before everybody, because every time he gets up, it's like a Jenga board kind of slipping into place with all the cracks and things.
So what we're saying is Demon's sleep schedule is working.
And that's why they call it fantasy roleplay.
Yeah. But yeah. Reaper, Padre, Spanner, you all kind of like eat. I'd say Sunshine is there as well, in like one of the tables. You see Grim in her normal fashion of being like, you know, the opposite of a morning person to an obscene amount. Kind of just like doing that thing where she doesn't look like she's awake, but she's definitely got like the thing where she's got like a cup of piping hot coffee, but it's not like she's doing that thing where she's like half down and protecting the cup with her body as she sips it. Going like that. Somebody speaks to her, it's like grunts and noises that she'll make.
She's awake. She's not alive.
Yeah, that takes a while. And probably actually being ribbed a little bit by Phoenix, who's probably ribbing her a little bit to the side, who seems like a morning person.
That's why they're called Phoenix, because they rise.
Well, I mean, that is a good theory.
They're called Phoenix because they're on their 11th clone.
I was gonna make the same joke.
Yeah, that's a good joke. That is a good joke.
Keep being reborn.
Yeah, I might, like, I kind of want to change up the write-up I have for just to make that the thing, but I'm not going to, because that sets a dangerous precedent for our ad-libbing.
I have to apply the player's bullshit again.
Yeah, I can't apply the yes ending to everything and everything. No, actually, I'm just gonna say everybody sitting there is smart enough that they would probably intuitively get why she's called Phoenix. Not in like a fun way, in the sense that she's dressed in like a what would you call it? Anybody who's watched the Battlestar Galactica like reimagined series, the the pilots' uniforms when they're like not in their like flight suits, like it's like a tank top or something like that, just kind of like very minimal, not like their arms aren't covered or anything like that. It's kind of just like that's she's kind of dressed in that, like it's a branded, like a company branded like a piece of clothing. It says hold on, got it here. Telegen Dynamics on the front of it, but it's like in an italics, and underneath it you see in smaller print, like the Telegen Dynamics is definitely like, oh, this is a company and this is the thing, and then below it is like, this is what that company is this is what the shirt's actually about, but the company gets top branding. But it's Telegen Dynamics Racing is kind of the underside one. It's all in like italics and stylized with like a blue and kind of like teal colors and stuff. This kind of thing. And her, like, most of the exposed skin below the neck and everything definitely shows skin graft, like scarring and stuff like that. Is what you can see. Though she's not like,
now I understand.
Yeah, she's not being like super. She doesn't like. She's not being self-conscious about or anything like that. In fact, everything that you've seen of her the entire time that she's been like around or everything like that, she's pretty like outspoken and loud, but not, she's just kind of like there and being like kind of a force for things. But yeah, you pretty much get a good vibe on what that is. But yeah, she's ribbon Sunshine, like about the like just Sunshine's vibe in the morning kind of thing. And that's kind of what that's what you deal with whenever you sit down for coffee or food, for your breakfast, and you kind of just sit around there. I'd say he's probably like talks to you too, which is probably a first, I'd say, in like a general, like non, like just like, hey, passing kind of thing. She's I think she probably be interested. She talks to Padre specifically. She like, once she kind of gets bored of messing with Sunshine, which is Sunshine is like a third combat deployment kind of vet and everything, which you get a vibe that maybe these two know each other from previous deployments kind of vibe.
Are we talking about Grim or Sunshine?
Sunshine.
The Deckside.
No, Grim is... fuck. I keep doing that in my brain. I just gotta have it stapled to somewhere. I can do that. Yes, you know who I'm talking. Yes, Grim, the third deployment kind of like commander of Echo's team.
You should see her getting out of the freezer. I say to Phoenix.
Well, I've seen it.
It's a beautiful
I've been
sight.
there for it. I've carried her from it.
Oh, I'm blessed with the luck of not having to deal with that. But the people on the other end of the spectrum are so much more funny to watch.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I'm sorry, Grim. I know you're sitting right here and you're awake but not alive right now. But see, she won't remember this.
So yeah, ice broken. Face kind of goes like, so I hear you killed a Corvette.
Well, and I point at Padre and then I point at me.
Padre.
It was a teamwork.
Padre, I think, just kind of like I just did, like sips probably the hot beverage that he's got, and just kind of goes, I think so.
Well, do you think so, or did you do it?
I think
it's still out there.
It went boom when he hit it with his laser. So yeah,
it sounds like you killed a Corvette.
I also destroyed a wall on the way in, but I think all in all it was a bit of a team effort.
Ursa's had 2, and Padre's had 1, and I think Reaper helped with both, and I was also there.
Ursa's he's the one that blew up to do it, right?
Yeah, he's the one that's still outside asleep. Yes.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
He's having a great time.
From what I can tell, he's building a barbecue.
Yeah, I got that vibe too.
Oh, that checks out.
Wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Getting the meat would be the hard part, but I think I might know a few places. I can probably put out a few feelers and get some actual fresh meat.
I'm sure you could swing something. So, Hammer's coming up in the world.
Apparently,
you have all the interesting assignments.
Interesting or shitty? Both?
What's the difference?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they're usually.
I think it's because they don't quite know what to do with us yet. Because we're all a bit odd.
I mean, I don't know what you're on about. I wasn't even meant to be fucking with you.
He's got a good point. He was meant to be with Saber.
Well,
he ended up looped in with us because, well,
feels like it seems like you kind of ended up where you've meant to end up now. She's not going to remember this.
Someone talk.
Yeah, she's not going to remember this, so I can say this. Me and her, on our first points, were in Hammer.
There are other survivors of Hammer Group.
Yeah. She kind of like gestures.
I hope it's more than
2!
I'm sure there are others from other deployments. Somewhere.
It could be worse.
Could be Saber.
True. Back in my deployment in the Union, there was a team that would every now and again I used to end up having to provide some field of fire cover for them. And I swear upon whatever you want to swear me on, whatever kept happening, there was always one dude who came out of that missing at least one testicle. And I don't know how it kept happening to the poor dude.
Sure it wasn't a fetish?
I'm not sure at this point. And you know what? I kind of hope it's not.
Both have problems.
Yeah, I just hope it's really fucking bad luck.
Yeah, both have problems. Both are icky in different ways. That's very true.
Well, Yeah, listen, I had fully, the second that Echo told me that Hammer was the group that people go to and, you know, and it's assigned to shit jobs, I knew full well I'd be assigned here, and honestly, have the missions been tough? Yes. Have they been insurmountable? I won't say anything on that yet, because I'm sure someone will jinx us, but we've managed, which is more than I think we could say for other people. Poor Echo lost half of his arm. It was his good jerk-off arm as well. Isn't that right, Echo? You know.
Echo is not interested in this room.
Echo's asleep still.
Echo is still asleep or somewhere else.
Yeah,
Like,
I just say it out of habit because I assume he's in here somewhere.
And honestly, there is 4 actual mech pilots, and they are dragging 2 of us along. And we are helping as much as we can, but...
Technically, there's 3 mech pilots. Oleg isn't a pilot. He was a super soldier breacher.
Counting Oleg as one of the noobs.
I'm not in there.
You've forgotten Drax already. Is it because he isn't here?
No, he's not a pilot either, and I point at Padre.
You know where I got
What did you do?
Padre's a pilot.
This is his first deployment.
What did you do before this? Phoenix asked you.
Me.
Yeah.
People aren't very inventive with their call signs. Let's say that.
Preacher. Ah. That explains all the tattoos.
And then some.
They do look good, though. I will say that. There's some good artistic work there.
Yeah. I was but a humble priest and missionary for a while.
Well, could do worse.
He's also pretty decent with a needle, so that's helpful.
Weirdly, I've been shot at less doing this.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, Padre.
We think we're less. We're yet to find out.
And so former priest, soldier, kind of points to you, Reaper, not questioning, just saying, soldier. Looks at Spanner and goes,
The clue is in the name.
naive.
Accurate and also mechanic.
I believe Spanner here was meant to be our technician, but how many?
Nope, I was supposed to stay on the ship, and then some fuck died, and I got their mech.
As you do, sometimes, right?
Too many times spent in the training simulations for fun.
I mean, you have to know how one drives to be able to test drive it.
And you gotta know the company keeps those numbers.
It does. I've seen
The best way to maintain something is to know how it works. Get a feel for it.
And I'm pretty good at maintaining.
She is the reason why we all have board games now. So she's got some good shit going on.
That is a very
ahead of her.
welcome. That is a very welcome thing. That was necessary. So you've got you 3. Oleg, you said, did something before.
Preacher.
He was like a
Soldier.
I actually had
Proper
read of his dossier. I don't think he realizes it, but I think he was a mech pilot. I think he just didn't know that they were called mechs.
Okay. All right. You got the creepy sunken eye guy.
Drax?
Right? Yeah.
You literally spit out your Padre spits his string. Drax.
I mean,
yeah, he's
soldier.
a CO. Yeah, he's CO. Yeah, used to be in the
XO.
Yeah,
he's XO.
Well, he used to be a CO, I think, in his previous role, wherever he was. He used to be in charge somewhere.
Yeah, I think he was a lieutenant, something like that. He was like a junior officer. And then that one, definitely soldier. As Demon comes in looking like he's not bothered at all from his morning run.
He's a fearless leader.
Some say this is his third run of the morning.
I think it's his fifth, actually.
I believe it. Well, that explains why you're doing so well. You got a lot of experience.
A lot of variety in skill set, I think, would be the major component of that one, Phoenix.
Yeah. Better than
I've
most.
literally barely shot anything.
Yet.
Do you normally shoot things in a fight, or do you help other ways?
I help other people shoot.
How many of our enemies have you disabled, though?
Many.
There you go.
I think the count is, and like Reaper looks over at something on like his pad. Let's see, close to 20 at this point.
It's the most fun.
I think she just likes seeing the explosion as like the mags from their weapons like fall to the ground and just explode on their friends. There's something slightly hilarious about it.
And you can see you can sometimes see the pilot in their cockpit, and they kind of look incredibly confused, and it's always heartwarming. And then Reaper usually shoots them through the head with a massive rifle.
Yeah, that's my job.
There you go. Fine. Oleg, you've probably gotten up at some point.
I imagine once the smell of food starts to really work its way through the camp, Oleg just kind of like looks up, looks at the meal cube in his hand, kind of looks at it, almost disgusted, probably tosses it into a pile. Within the minute of getting up, has found the sign and gotten confused because at some point he just thinks that he forgot making it himself. Will proudly kind of slide that next to the chair that he was sleeping in, claiming the chair as well as the spot that he has been building, because that's how you do things. And will wander into the canteen, probably looking like a bear on two legs, just kind of like shumbling back and forth like somebody who desperately needs coffee in him.
There is a coffee stick stuck in your hand before you manage to stumble halfway in.
Oleg, sit. I'll go and get you some food.
Get him 2 plates.
Good, Ursa. Yes, I will.
Like a barrel. just.
You don't want to know what Oleg is like when he doesn't get his sleep and his food. We've been lucky so far. He is a very temperamental person.
His name is literally Ursa, and he's just got up from hibernation.
Get that man double strength coffee and 4 English breakfasts, including everything on it.
If he does settle down, he probably just kind of like is looking around at other people, just sniffing around, like if there's any food that is marginally unguarded, somebody's
There is a plate
plate
put under him within a minute.
Oh, a minute's too long. No, 15 seconds after he sits down, somebody's losing something off their plate.
What?
I slide like my plate over a little bit because I've finished most of my meal at this point.
Does Ursa have anything he doesn't like to eat? This is the new quest, guys. We got to try and find the food he doesn't eat.
I don't know. Like, there's definitely foods that he doesn't specifically like, but he still eats them because that's what's available. I don't know if there's been anything so far that he has turned his nose up at.
Probably a good thing given his line of work. But yeah, Reaper slides his plate across to Oleg when he sees him like looking around, because he's like finished everything and there's still like a small stack of like, you know, toast or something like that he has there that he hasn't eaten.
It is a start, and he just begrudgingly starts chewing into pieces of it. It'll take an hour before this guy has gotten enough food that he is back to being Oleg. He is not just Ursa.
A stacked high plate comes put in front of him of eggs and meat substitute.
he is cognitive enough. He takes a fork and just starts stacking it in the middle, like somebody like just stabbing into a stack of pancakes and just scarfing it in. Morning.
Well, Phoenix, now you've met everybody. This is Oleg. Oleg, Phoenix.
Hello.
Rival's frozen. He's gonna drop off and come back.
I was confused because you were clearly talking to him. I'm like, but Rival's not moving. Who else is there?
Ah, he's stoic.
He's learned ventriloquism.
He's learned the art of standing so still. We can still see him, but everybody's just really confused. Yes, Oleg, Ursa.
Phoenix.
Breakfast.
Phoenix. Abby. And, yeah. You spend some time eating. Phoenix finishes up her breakfast. You kind of see Grim become alive again, slowly. And yeah, you kind of just have a good kind of morning, low key. Phoenix and Grim kind of head off at a certain point. Say, I keep thinking of D&D when I try to want to do these checks or noticing checks or anything, but in Lancer, you don't really do that out of the mech. It's not a thing.
Filters, yeah.
Yeah, you don't really have that kind of thing. Dice rolls are for incredibly specific things. So you actually catch the back of Phoenix's shirt, which lists all number of names on the back of it.
Handwritten?
No, it's like printed on it. Like the front is like a printed, kind of like graphic. And the back is a printed graphic as well, and it lists names. And you get a sense. This is the, like, from the front and back and everything, Telegen Dynamics Racing is the team, and the back is the members of the team. And at the top of that is Abigail Burrell.
Oh, cool. She's a racer.
Was a racer.
Yeah, checks out.
You never stop being a racer.
You never stop being an adrenaline.
Would you say Spanner is a fan of racing as like a hobby?
I think it's very much in the areas that she's interested in because it is mechanical things doing what they're not necessarily supposed to be doing.
It's true. That's very true. Oh, that does sound like a skill trigger. Give me an investigate roll.
I can do. Oh, Roach, so the mechs have gone into the pilot's listing.
I have to organize that. That's how it normally does. It'll drop it into the same folder that your pilot sheet goes into. I know, it makes it difficult to figure everything out. I've got to kind of comb through everything. I'll probably tell you to, like, put a special character at the end of...
Fail.
Fail.
Just fail, but fail.
Just fail. Okay. Oh yeah, you get 1 grit for every level past...
Every odd.
It's every odd level. It's
every odd level. So you'd have 2 grit and everything. Okay. Yeah. Say you're not super familiar with racing generally. So you wouldn't know the specifics of everything. But hey, you do remember this. You remember this team that the shirt's based off of specifically. It's a near-light racing team, which is essentially a get a ship about the size of like those Corvettes that you were fighting, make them take out all of the life support, all the cargo space, all the weapons, shielding, everything. Put the bare minimum of everything in there for 1 or 2 pilots, or like a micro-sized crew, and then put all the rest of that space into engines, and you race at near light speeds, in circuits around solar systems. Is the thing. It's an incredibly demanding sport. Physically, because there's a lot of G-forces involved, because you're essentially having to do like...
You're not going to put... There's no artificial gravity there. So.
Yep, so you're going appreciable percentages of the value of C in solar system-wide circuits. You remember this team specifically?
It's this universe's version of Formula 1, more or less, right? Because Formula 1 is super physically intensive, high Gs, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, think of it like a mix of Formula 1 and like Rally, in the sense that because it's a very specific, like
You're going through asteroids or ringed planets and things like that. It's going to be lots of obstacles. Hence, Rally state.
Racing is fine. Formula 1 is fantastic. Sure, the idea of racing at near light speed has got to be the most boring thing because you can't watch it.
You'd be able to have transponders and stuff that would tell you.
You could watch the checkpoints come through, and you could watch the crews do what they're doing, but you could not watch them actually do it because it's near light speed.
Yeah.
By the time you were trying to watch them doing it, they'd already be done doing it.
It would be like holographic projections of their course, right?
Yeah, but when I say near light, you're not always at near light because you can't do maneuvers at near light.
So you watch the slowdowns when they're banking or like in the gravity wells around planets and points like that, but you watch 15% of the race or whatever, like, unless they're going fat. Like, oh my god,
that's the same as physically seeing Formula 1, because obviously you don't move around the track with them. It's just okay.
Yeah, you see micro bits, but yeah, you do remember this team because you watched one of the races that they won in, which was a couple of years back. Was the Carrack Dip and Skip was the name of the race, which basically just means the Carrack is the star of the Carrack and Trade Barony's home system, and they host a race like every 10 years or something like that. Is kind of like the thing, and the point is the binary star system, and it's just a figure 8 around the stars, but it's X number of laps, and the only way that you can really push it is either getting faster than everybody on the straightaways or going as far into the gravity well of the sun as possible for gravity assist.
To get that slingshot, yeah.
And shorten your orbit, and it's a very intense race to watch and one of the most popular. And you remember this team won that one. They had the deepest dive into the gravity well of the secondary star in the system, and pulled it out at the last second, kind of thing. Which, got to think as well, you're going near light, you have to slow down or try and slow down, or just not slow down and just take it at full speed and then maneuver, try and correct and keep yourself from jellifying, kind of thing at near light. So yeah, it's a big thing. Hey, I don't agree with Lake's opinion on this. I think it'd be fucking cool to watch a near light race. That would be, maybe not watch, but just play by play, watch a play by play of that.
Sure, I could see the after effects of it being something I'm curious to see how it happened. But I think the actual watching of it in real time would be a chore.
It's like how I feel about baseball.
To be fair, watching Formula 1 is a bit of a chore.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
NASCAR really is a chore.
Yeah, I was
gonna say, really imagine racing are cool with it, but the average normal person is not going to look at it and go, "Oh, that looks like a lot of fun." There's going to be millions, because this is a galaxy-wide sport, of people who watch this, but trying to explain it to a random friend and just going, "Hey, I watch near light racing," and you're like, why?
So you're telling me they bank around the sun for 27 minutes, and then they drive straight for 9 hours, and then you watch them go around the next planet for another 22 minutes. Why does anybody watch this? That's all I'm hearing. It's just like, I don't.
How big is this fracking system you're in? It takes 8.5 minutes for this light to get from the sun to our planet, and we're God knows how far away from it.
Yeah, but that's also the third planet. If they're going around the entire solar system, think of how far Pluto out is, and you're going from Pluto to Pluto on the other side. That's going to take some time.
Earth is 151.
They're not even going light speed. They're going near light speed.
Kilometers from the moon.
Yeah, it takes about an hour and a half to get from the light to get from the sun to Saturn.
Yeah.
It takes about an hour and a half, and that's at light speed. So yeah, near light speed. Which, by the way, near light speed inside this universe, you get up to like 99. Like you're near. Like you're almost full light speed. Like you get to the point where time dilation is a 1 to 10. 10 to 1
for reference,
thing, so
it takes roughly 5.5 hours for the light from the sun to get to Pluto.
Yeah.
And that's assuming, depending how big your solar system is.
Yeah, that's the thing. Karak, the home system of the Kark Trade Baronies, like those binaries are not super far away from each other, probably from the distance of like what you'd expect from like our sun to Mars is kind of like two like binary systems, so they're far but not super far, kind of like doing like they have a single point. They have a co-gravity point in the center of the system that they kind of like form by that point. We're getting to astrophysics on that, but yeah, no, Spanner, you're
is this still a tangent, or is this just lore? Like, are we just learning about
that is lore. You are learning lore about the universe, which is good, but yeah, no, Spanner, you're like moderately aware of that. You recognize the team, but you don't recognize much past that, and I guess you make the intuitive leap, the fact that she did say her name was Abby and call sign Phoenix, and the name Abigail Burrell probably relates, but other than that, that's about all you really know. Yeah, they head off, get the sense that probably her and Grim are friends to some degree as they go, but then you're kind of left to your devices as Oleg becomes a human again, and Demon hides the fact that his knees hurt in the morning with a stoic look and a coffee cup in his hand. As he does that, I got my text about 5 minutes ago, and I was just trying to finish up that tangent. So that is, it is a text in the confirmation that yes, I am going to have to go pick up groceries. So the person was not able to.
Okay, so
slightly truncated, but we did get post. We got post break this time, which is it's good that we didn't get.
It's a new record.
Yeah, post right. Well, it's good we didn't get like super far into like a mission or anything like that. Utari is not here, so would feel bad about not including him. But yeah.
So I guess next time we'll join back with not only our next mission, but our upgraded mechs, because we did go up a license level, and I think it would be cool if we also go over our upgrades at some point very, very soon.
It'll be more relevant next time, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So without further ado, all we've got left to do today is to thank those who have been here. Thank you to Commissar Roach for writing and GMing this campaign. Thank you to Red Moogle and RivalzoneGaming from RivalzoneGaming. Thank you to SurelyOnlyMikey. Thank you to DM Lake. Thank you to normally Utari Onzo. And I've been Midgeman. We'll catch you as the Tuesday crew next time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.